My name's Tom. I'm a professional pilot. And I came to do the program through a recommendation of somebody I know who'd already done it. And I needed to do it because I just finished in a relationship, but I'd also lost my job and my home where I was living at the time with that person. And I couldn't find any answers myself, and I felt like I needed some, extra help to make me recover faster, rather than just, wallowing and trying to organise things in my own head. I felt like I needed some extra assistance in doing that. And that's how I came to do the program. Well, when I came to the program, I wasn't sleeping at all. My diet had gone out the window, couldn't eat. I was, feeling quite ill quite a lot of the time. And within probably the first week of doing it, I found that, my sleeping was getting a lot better, my diet was getting a lot better, and I felt a lot calmer. Obviously, like most people at the end of relationships, I was very sad, very tearful, very, desperate, feeling alone. Everything was setting me off into fits of tears and, remembering certain things about my ex-life, my ex-girlfriend, all of that stuff. But slowly throughout the program, that started going away. I started thinking about myself a lot more. I started realizing things about myself a lot more, and realizing that, there was no reason to be blaming somebody else or something else for where I had found myself. Answered a lot of questions about myself that I'd always wanted answering for most of my life, but I'd never really found the tools or the correct way of doing things. But the good thing throughout the program was that with assistance from Adele and the exercises, I discovered those answers myself. I felt that I was, at the beginning, I imagined I would be, being given these answers, being shown how to do things, but you come to more slow realizations yourself, which I think is definitely a more powerful way of learning things. And when you're focusing on yourself throughout the program like that, I noticed that my pain was just going away. I was being a lot less teary. Like I say, I was sleeping a lot more. And it was almost something that just kind of creeped up on me. I just one day sort of noticed, oh, I haven't been crying today, or I haven't been sick today. And, it wasn't something I had actively been working on, but it was an excellent byproduct of the exercises and the, self-discovery, because it is a journey of self-discovery that I went through on the program over the 21 days. Well, it was a bit longer than 21 days for me, but still it was, it worked out that I learned so much more about myself, to the point now where I'm, I don't really have any pain about my ex situation anymore, because I've learned more about it. I learned the reasons behind things, and I've learned things about myself, and so I'm a lot calmer and a lot happier already, and I know, and I'm looking forward to my journey continuing. And that's basically my experience of the program so far. Realizing that we are all responsible for what happens to us, realizing that I did attract those negative things into my life. Previously, I was always looking to blame other people or look to make excuses for anything negative that had happened to me. It was always, oh, because this happened, or so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that. I calmed down a lot more when I think I finally realized and learnt it was me. It was me learning those things. It was me doing those things to myself. And not being sad about that, because it sounds like, that could throw a lot of people off, off their perch when you realize that you're responsible for the negative things that happen to you. But it was really empowering. It really made me feel stronger about myself. I actually knew myself a bit more, and I could see how, I was responsible for the mistakes that happened in my relationship, the mistakes that went to me losing my job. So those were some of the most powerful things, when I could put the attention onto myself and into myself and realize I was the cause, but more importantly, I was the solution. Realizing that it was all in me, not having to rely on external factors to give me my satisfaction in life or my success in life. You combine those two, for me, that was a really powerful thing, because I'd always, like I say, always been looking at other people or other things externally to try and, validate myself and give myself value. When I realised that's not how the world works or how people work, I felt a lot more empowered and a lot more knowledgeable about myself. They're probably the biggest things, and the process of letting go of anger and things. That was a big thing for me, because I'd been angry with stuff from childhood, with family, with things I've tried that hadn't worked out. I was very, very angry with my ex for how things ended, but after doing certain exercises in the program, wow, there was no anger. There was just nothing. Which sounds a bit scary. You would think that you should feel something, but no, feeling nothing. It's not, it's not an emptiness. It's not a void, a scary, dark void. It's just a peaceful place where you're not angry about things anymore. So that was another really big thing for me personally, letting go of anger in general. So yeah, there's many things, and I think each day you discover more about yourself. And each day you learn more things that make you go, wow, sit up. And it makes you want to do it more and more, The more realizations you have and the more things that make you go, wow, I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe I didn't know that, pushes you to want to do more. And, it just snowballs from there, and you just get a momentum behind you. It's very empowering. And you feel good about doing it. Even if the things you're learning about yourself are negative, you still come away feeling positive, which is a wow thing for me, Going from something negative to something positive in the same, in the same breath is quite amazing. My favourite day, probably day 9 was my favourite day, letting go of my anger. It took me a long time to realise that not that I had to let go of it, but to realise how to let go of it. And it was a day where I spent by myself. I basically just had to get up, walk out, go find somewhere, go through the exercise, and I was there for hours, getting covered in mud and dirt and filth and all sorts of stuff. Which maybe from a man's point of view, that's great. I felt like a caveman. And what I've got here is some evidence of what happened at the end of the day. So I had to basically get a baseball bat, which you'll read in the program, and smash some ice to pieces, which, sounds easy enough, but I really went wild, man, and lost it. And this is what happened. This is my baseball bat at the end of the day. I smashed it into 3 or 4 different pieces, set the thing on fire. And there's not many things in life where you can have such, people would call it vandalism, wouldn't they? Randomly setting fires and smashing things to pieces. But you have the permission to do that, and you have a good logical reason as to why you're doing that. And the release you get at the end of it is incredible. You just feel nothing. Just feel nothing at all. So there was that one, and then finally accepting, realizing that the patterns I'd had in my relationship and previous relationships, I had attracted them. I had brought those things into my life. So I lost any blame for anybody else apart from myself. But I wasn't blaming myself, because the program will teach you you couldn't have acted in any other way, because you didn't have that knowledge before then. So realizing that it was all down to me, and I finally got the power to see that in a positive light, and that's the important thing. All of this has to be seen in the positive light, and it does come out positively. But for me, seeing that and letting go of anger and letting go of blame, they were my favourite days. Realizing that was great, really, really good. I think the program is the starting point. It's not like you do, for me anyway, it's not like I did the program for the 21 days and then go, oh, that's it, I'm fixed, I'm done, I'm fine. No, not at all. It is a constant journey of self-discovery and a constant journey of improvement in a good, positive way, stuff that makes you feel good every single day. So I'm going to take all of this away and try and finally push for the jobs I know I've always wanted to have, because I said earlier I'd lost my job back in July and I haven't worked since. It's now January. So I'm going to take this positivity away and put it into my new life of finding the job I want, and then using that also in the future to attract, people into my life. But most importantly, it's a journey for me and getting comfortable with me again. So what's next for me is being comfortable with me and learning about me more than I already have done on the program, and just continuing that momentum. I really want to say it's not you start on day 1, day 21 you finish and that's it, done. For me it really isn't, and I love that it's something I can always work on and always have there. It's a good set of tools that I can have there to reference back to whenever I want to. I mean, I've chosen to start the program again by myself, so going through every day to reread the things and relearn the lessons to get it really stuck into my head, because there's so much stuff in there that for me anyway that I learned, I don't want to forget any of it. So it's going to be a constant journey until basically I die, and I'm really pleased with that. It's not something that's scary. It's not something that makes me think, oh no, I have to keep working, I have to keep working. I do have to keep working, but I'm really excited and I love that thought. I'm going to be in control is what is next for me. I'm going to be the master of my destiny, instead of just allowing things to happen, and then when bad things happen going, oh well, it was that person's fault or this person's fault. No, it was me. So that's what's next, to keep that momentum up and keep learning. I can't wait. The best advice I could probably give is you really have to be ready for it. You really have to be prepared for what it is and fully commit yourself to it. I started and I had to stop a few times because I hadn't committed myself to it fully, which was a good thing. I'm not trying to make people think that in a bad way. It's always very supportive. It's always very helpful to have somebody there who can, pull you up on things. But if you're nervous about starting it and you're not sure about starting it, well, you probably need to do it in the first place. Because if your mind is going along that route that you need help and you want some assistance, then you're probably right. So follow your thoughts through and be strong enough with yourself. Sounds a bit funny, but love yourself enough and have enough pride in yourself to go and do something. It's only 21 days, which is nothing. You've probably sat for the last 21 days thinking, shall I, shan't I, shall I, shan't I? Well, you could have done it in that time. So if you're thinking about it, make some calls, speak to the angels, do what you can, and then just fully commit to something. Because if you're floating around in life, you've had a bad experience, you're not sure what to do, it would be a really good place to ground you and start you recovering to where you want to be. So that's my advice. Commit to it, go for it, and just speak to people. Don't keep it in yourself. Speak up, speak out if you think you need help, but realize you really have to commit to it. But you're committing to yourself. At the end of the day, it's a commitment to yourself. It's not to anybody else. It is to you. So have some pride and do it.